Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, well, it's February. That means many of us have already broken our New Year's resolution to get in shape. We're going to get back on track with a nationally known health coach. He's next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, this is a very common tale. Everybody makes this New Year's resolution to get in shape. They get a gym membership, and then by February, you can't find a single person in the gym because they've all backslid on their New Year's resolution. To get us back on track, a nationally known health coach and a friend, Rob Zschau. He's with REDIGO Health Coaching. Thanks for coming on the show.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So how did this begin for you? When did you get into health and nutrition?
Well, I've kind of always been into it most of my life. But really started back in high school when I would exercise and help friends out. Didn't really think much of it at the time. And then went to college, declared a major in chemistry, wasn't very happy there. Then I was having a conversation with my friends from high school, and she told me I should become a personal trainer. And I kind of laughed at her, but I did what she said, and I looked into it and switched my majors and haven't looked back since.
And you were telling me before the show that when you became a personal trainer, that was before it was cool. Like you didn't even know any personal trainers.
Well, I actually told her that I thought it was a joke because, knowing enough about it, I knew that it was kind of bodybuilders and for lack of a better word, kind of meathead kind of guys that got into that, and it wasn't a profession that I really gave much thought to. Once I got into it, I realized I was at the beginning of what we kind of all know is the health industry.
Yes, and you're based in Melissa. We're going to pull up his Instagram page and scroll down the page. Tell us about your facility in Melissa.
So I have a small boutique studio in Melissa. We opened up at the beginning of the year. I have been doing health coaching for over 30 years, but this is my first location. And we're really kind of getting our feet wet and helping people up there. And, we know that we can't have people always coming from Dallas, but we encourage people from coming wherever they want to get in shape.
I noticed you added yoga.
Yes, yoga and Pilates. So I have a much more holistic view. That's why I focus on health coaching, not just personal training. Personal training is an important piece, right? But health coaching as a whole, looking at the body more holistically, is really important. And a lot of the times, especially now, most people will agree with me, the stresses and things just in life, in many ways, are pretty overwhelming. And yoga and Pilates can be a very nice addition to your kind of health routine, as well as strength training, nutrition, stress release, all those other kind of pieces that kind of pull in, but it works well.
And you're not like just some guy right out of high school training at 24-hour fitness. You've got amazing credentials. Rattle off a few of them.
Oh gosh, they're just a bunch of letters, really. Of course, I got my degree in exercise physiology and finished up with a minor in chemistry. So I've got a lot of that background. I have a certification in nutrition coaching. Multiple certifications in personal training, also golf, fitness, and then pre and postnatal. I work with a lot of women who are either going to be pregnant or pregnant and coming out of pregnancy, sometimes multiple times, have multiple children. And so that's very rewarding too.
And what is the secret to getting in shape? Is it mostly, there's that old saying that the bodies are made in the kitchen, not in the gym. What percentage would you say is made in the kitchen?
Well, there's varying points on that. I'd say it's about 75% made in the kitchen and 25 out. There's a lot of physicality that comes along with trying to be in shape. And yes, focusing on your diet, focusing on nutrition is incredibly important. But so much of the time, it's not about what we're eating, it's why we're eating it. What is driving that choice, right? I don't know anybody that doesn't know that chicken is good and French fries are bad. Everybody knows this, but we choose the French fries. Well, they're really good. But aside from that, there's a driving force behind that. So we have to get behind. We have to look a little bit deeper and go, okay, why are we making those choices? Is it a time? Is it stress? Is it this is what the kids are eating. What is it exactly? And then say, okay, if we're faced with that choice regularly and that challenge, but we don't want the kind of body and the kind of health that gives us, what do we need to do to change that? And it's not taking the fry away. People are like, oh, just stop eating the fries. No. I don't tell people stop eating fries. I look at why are you making that choice? And if you still would like to have a fry now and again, well, let's have a fry.
Right.
Because if you totally take something away,
Right.
you just want it more. So that's not a healthy outlook on things either. It's how to manage all of that, but really understanding the drivers behind it. And that sometimes takes time. And sometimes I like to tell my clients I'm peeling an onion, right? Kind of taking off the layers and we're going to see what's underneath. A lot of times we get underneath there's some more layers, right?
Yes.
And we don't know, but we just kind of keep peeling until we get to that place. And it takes time.
We've got some video from our library that we're going to put up. And I remember when I was in my best physical shape, it was maybe 2 decades ago. And I just had it in my mind, I'm going to get in perfect shape. And my favorite dessert on the planet is cheesecake. And I remember back when I was in the zone, they could put a strawberry cheesecake in front of me, and I wouldn't see it as delicious anymore. I would actually kind of see it as rat poison. I think I tricked my mind into thinking that that food is evil and it's going to sabotage everything you're trying to do in the gym. Talk about the relationship with food and how you have to have the right mindset.
Well, you're exactly right. So you went to that all or nothing kind of thinking, and a lot of people go there, right? They think, okay, I can't overcome this want for this cheesecake, so I just got to get it out of the house. And sometimes that works. I mean, me personally, I like a good bowl of ice cream, but if I had ice cream every night, that wouldn't be a good choice, right? So I know that if I make it a little bit more difficult for myself to get that ice cream, like I have to go out and buy it, or stop by the store, it's kind of a pain. So by not keeping it in the house, it keeps me from making that choice instantaneously. It gives me a little bit of that space that I can do to make a good choice. Now, do I sometimes still go out and go grab a shake at Brahms? Sure, of course.
And Uber Eats delivers, did you know that?
Yeah. I don't have a problem with that because I get so annoyed with the additional costs on those things, I can't even do it. I'm like, if I don't go and get it myself, I just don't get it.
There you go. What's one of your favorite success stories?
I get asked this quite a bit. And so much of the time, I think as a trainer, you look at, where's been the largest amount of success or the greatest growth in a client, right? And you're like, there's one client lost 100 pounds or this.
Yeah.
No. So there's this older lady, and she was 85 at the time that I started training, and she had sat down and met with me, and she was so nervous, but she was so sweet, and she had never exercised in her life. She was this was 30 years ago. It was 25 years ago at this point, and she had expressed to me that the only thing she wanted to do, she lived alone, and she wanted to be able to reach up in her cabinets again and grab things out of there, cans of soup and things like that. And then she hadn't been able to do that for a long time. So she'd have to have people come over and help her, or she'd put it down in lower cabinets. And she goes, I'd really like to reach up. And so I talked with her. I said, well, why can't we do this? And she goes, well, it hurts, or I can't move my arm. And so I evaluate her, and I kind of look at her, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong. I said, I think all we have is a problem with strength. And she goes, you think that's all it is? I said, yeah. So I only had 4 weeks with her because she ended up not being able to train with me very long. But in that 4 weeks, I got her to be able to do something she hadn't done in a decade. And to me, that is, those little things mean more. It's easy to get somebody to lose 40, 50, 60 pounds, comparatively speaking. But to change somebody's life like that in such a simple way, that really sticks with me.
Talk about your style. Are you the drill sergeant person who says, give me another 20? Or who are you?
Well, so this is really funny. For a long time, when my wife and I would go to a party or something like that, and most of the time, she would know somebody and she'd be introducing me, and she would have to, someone would ask what I do, and she'd say he's a personal trainer. At the time, that was a better description. But then she'd have to follow it up with, but he's not the personal, he's not like what you think. He's not the normal personal trainer. And I never really understood what that meant. To me, what I did was normal. But when I started seeing more of what other people do, the drill sergeants, the high energy and stuff like that,
Right.
I'm not quite that. I'm much more mellow. I'm much more, relationship based. And so when I focus on those things, I'm much more interested to understand the person. And I've actually coined a phrase that I use a lot. It's called the intuitive method. And so when I train, I use what I call the intuitive method. And to me, what that is I learn as much as I can about the individual. I meet them where they're at, whether their energy level, whatever, and walk with them and then intuitively kind of guide them through to get to where they want to be, because life's going to interject things, right? And so it's my job to catch those things, help figure out how they're impacting my client, and then keep them on that path, because there's always going to be something that's going to derail you.
Sure.
So I'm a little bit more low key that way. Not at all the drill sergeant.
And why is it important to have an accountability partner like a trainer? Because people know that they could do jumping jacks at home and push-ups. We all know how to do sit-ups, but having somebody hold you accountable is really key, isn't it?
It is, and it still amazes me. When I work with somebody, I find instantly that what I expect of them matters. They want to know that if I've suggested they do something, that when they do it, that I not only recognize it, but that I'm proud of them, right? And I always am, because those steps that they're taking, of the suggestions that I make, are only going to help them. And so when they, take those steps and follow through with it, I'm very proud of them. And it is one of those things where it's just kind of, I could say the same thing your wife tells you, I could say the same thing your husband tells you or whatever, but when I say it, all of a sudden you do it. And, I train lots of husbands and wives. And, the wife will be like, oh, I've been telling him that for years. I'm like, yeah. But then when I told him,
Right.
and at the end of the day, that's all that really matters. It's not because I'm so special and I was able to get through to him, nothing like that. No, it just comes down to the relationship that I try to build, and then the trust, and then that what leads to that motivation and the adherence to exercise, and ultimately getting to your goals.
Okay, in the last minute, I want you to look into the camera on the left and talk to that viewer who has been putting it off. They know that they're overweight. They know they're not as healthy as they need to be. And especially if they're older, you want to be healthy enough that you can live independently and not have to have somebody come into your home all the time. So talk to that person.
Well, what I would definitely like to say is any of the challenges that you're facing, any of the things that you have felt that have kept you from getting to your goals, every one of them is overcomable in some form or fashion. Now, it may not be in the way that you think. There's a lot of times we get blinded by what we think we can do and what we think we can't do. What I like to do is come alongside of my clients and help them get where they want to be and support them in the best way that I can. And a lot of that is relationship based, because I want to see you succeed, and I want to see everybody succeed. And I want to help as many people as I possibly can. I know I'm only one person, but that's another reason why I'm trying to grow my studio and everything like that, is to expand that reach so that I can help more people. But the number one thing I say is, don't think that you can't do it just because you haven't done it yet.
Great way to end the show. We're also going to leave you with his website, which is REDIGOcoaching.com. The great Rob Zschau. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, Jeff.
You bet. That's it for now. We'll see you next time.